dear students, myself Gangadhar Solanke, and I welcome you all to the MCGM's virtual classroom.
Today in standard 7th geography, we'll be learning the topic air pressure. In this topic, we are going to talk about the altitude of the region and air pressure, and also about the air temperature and air pressure, pressure belts on the Earth's surface, and isobars. Now on the screen, as you can see, two images, and here air pressure is the weight of the air. Air pressure is the weight of the air pushing down on you at any given time, and this changes from day to day. It means that there is change in the air pressure, but air pressure is what? Is the weight of the air. And by this statement we can understand that air in the atmosphere exerts pressure on the surface of the earth, and that we are going to study in detail in this topic. Now by these activities you can understand that the balance tipped on the side of the full blown balloon, this shows that air has weight here. Air has weight. When a balloon is blown up, it becomes heavier than a flat one, and this is because air is heavy. Now here when we say air is heavy, it means that the air has weight. Anything that has weight exerts pressure. Now in this statement, this word is very important. Anything that has weight, agar weight hai, it will exert pressure on the thing that lies below it, like here. Anything that has weight exerts pressure on the thing that lies below it, and thus the air in the atmosphere exerts pressure on the surface of the earth, and but obvious objects which are on the surface of the earth. Due to this air pressure, various phenomena like storms, precipitation, etc. occur in the atmosphere. So the storms or the precipitation which we can have or see, all these phenomena, natural phenomena, are because of air pressure. There are various air pressure, or we can say there are variations in air pressure. Air pressure is not uniform on all places on the earth's surface. हर जगह पर air pressure same नहीं है, it is different. That is why we are saying it is not uniform everywhere on the earth's surface. Air pressure keeps on changing from time to time, and the altitude of a region, temperature of the air, and amount of water vapor in the air are some factors influencing air pressure. Which are the things which influence air pressure? Altitude of a region, temperature of the air, and amount of water vapor. Now here in this image you can see the molecules of air And by this, we can understand that air pressure is not uniform on all places on the Earth's surface, and it keeps on changing. Then the next one, altitude of the region and air pressure. The proportion of dust जो हमें easily आँखों से दिखती है, dust in the air. The proportion of the dust in the air, water vapor, heavy gases, etc. is higher in the air closer to the surface of the earth. जितना नीचे 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 हम एयर को देखेंगे उसमें डस्ट, वाटर वेपर एंड हेवी गैसेस ज़्यादा होते हैं एज कंपेयर टू द हाई लेवल इफ यू टॉक. दिस प्रपोर्शन डिक्रीजेस विथ इंक्रीजिंग एल्टीट्यूड. जितना हम ऊपर 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 जाएंगे उतना डस्ट पार्टिकल्स कम हो जाएंगे, वाटर वेपर कम हो जाएंगे एंड द हेवी गैसेस ऑल्सो रिड्यूस्ड. And that is why it is proportional to increasing altitude. As one moves higher and higher from the surface of the earth, the air becomes thinner and thinner. Now why it happens? Because if one moves higher and higher, the proportion of dust, proportion of water vapor and proportion of heavy gases reduced or decreases, and that is why it is thinner and thinner if one moves higher and higher. Here now in the image you can see higher barometric pressure at lower altitude such as sea level, low pressure is equal to warm air rising, and then lower barometric pressure at higher altitude such as in the mountains. As a result, the air pressure decreases with increasing altitude. This thing which we have to keep in mind. And here now in this image you can easily understand the altitude of the region and air pressure. To very close surface, air molecules have less freedom to move about, and so that high atmospheric pressure. And here at height, air molecules move freely, and that's why less atmospheric pressure. Then the next point, air temperature and air pressure. Temperature and air pressure are closely related. Wherever the temperature is high, if the temperature is high, the air pressure is low, because temperature influence air pressure. As the temperature rises, the air gets heated, expands and becomes lighter. Very simple to understand. जैसे टेम्परेचर बढ़ेगा, एयर मॉलिक्यूल्स हीट हो जाएंगे, एक्सपांड हो जाएंगे और हल्के हो जाते हैं, becomes lighter. Here you can see this lighter air in the vicinity of the Earth's surface starts moving up towards the sky. एक बार हवा हल्की हो गई तो वो फिर ऊपर ऊपर ट्रैवल करती है, ऊपर मूव होती है, and because of this the air pressure in such areas decreases. Here now again you can see through images or figures cold air, downwards and warm air upward direction. So as the temperature increases, the air pressure decreases. High temperature, low pressure, low temperature, high pressure. And that's why temperature zones and pressure belts, which are interrelated to each other, but the latitudinal extent of the temperature zones is much larger while pressure belts are narrower. And to understand this, you can see figure 4.2, it means this one, about the temperature zones. The temperate zone extends from 23 degree 30 minute to 66 degree 30 minute north. Compared to this, the air pressure belt has limited extent and it is generally up to 10 degree parallel. Here you can see 23 degree 30 minutes and 66 degree 30 minutes. Then in the second one, if we go figure 4.2b, pressure belts and planetary winds. The uneven distribution of temperature, हर जगह पे सेम नहीं है. Uneven distribution of temperature influence the distribution of air pressure too, and this leads to the formation of low and high pressure belts horizontally between the equator and the poles. Here you can see equatorial low pressure belts, mid latitudinal high pressure belts, again here mid latitudinal high pressure belts, then polar winds, here also polar winds and polar high pressure belts. So all these things happens because of the temperature and the effect or the influence of temperature on the air. Next thing, equatorial low pressure belt, that is in the pressure belts on the earth's surface. The heat received from the sun is uneven in different regions. ये तो वेरी कॉमन थिंग है टू अंडरस्टैंड. अगर हम घर पे है तो घर पे अलग हीट हमें सन से मिलती है और घर से हम स्कूल में आते हैं तो वहाँ पर भी अलग होती है. दैट मीन्स द सन इज अनइवन इन डिफरेंट रीजन्स एंड हेंस द डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ द टेम्परेचर इज अनइवन फ्रॉम द इक्वेटर टू द पोल्स. नाउ इफ देयर इज change in the temperature zones, then there is change in the air pressure. So the temperature zones are created, which we have already studied in the previous class. Now about the equatorial low pressure belt. The sun rays can be perpendicular between the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. Now because of this, what happens? So the temperature is higher in this region, and as we know, it influences the air. Air in this region gets heated. Because of heat, it expands, becomes lighter and moves towards the sky. As this process operates continuously, a low pressure belt gets formed in the central part of this region between the parallels 5 degree north and 5 degree south. Then mid latitudinal high pressure belts. The heated air becomes lighter, starts ascending, and after reaching higher altitudes moves towards the polar region, that is towards the north and the south pole, and due to low temperatures at the higher altitudes, the air cools down and becomes heavier. This heavier air descends down in both the hemispheres in the region between 25 degree to 35 degree parallels. And because of all this, it leads to the formation of high pressure belts in these parallels of latitudes in both the hemispheres. This air is dry, hence the region does not get rainfall. Rainfall because of the dry air. Now here you can easily understand this: equator, Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. Then now in this, the next one, subpolar low pressure belts. Due to Earth's curvature, the area between two parallels get reduced, and as we move towards the poles, this results in lesser friction of the air with the Earth's surface. Now again here, friction, which also important thing when we talk about the subpolar low pressure belts. Air in this region is thrown out because of this reduced friction and also because of the Earth's rotational motion. The rotational motion of the Earth also cause subpolar low pressure belts. Again here you can see subpolar low pressure belt, subtropical high pressure belt, subtropical high pressure belt and subpolar low pressure belt at 60 degree. Because of this reduced friction and also because of the Earth's rotational motion. This condition is observed in the area between 55 degree and 65 degree parallels in both the hemispheres. And the next one, polar high pressure belts. In both the polar regions, the temperature is below 0 degree Celsius throughout the year. पूरे साल वहाँ का टेम्परेचर 0 डिग्री सेल्सियस से कम होता है, and hence here the air is cold. Because of this cold air, high pressure belts get formed. These are called polar high pressure belts. They generally occupy the area between 80 degree and 90 degree parallels in both the hemispheres. दोनों hemispheres में 80 degree and 90 degree. But this all because of the temperature which is below 0 degree Celsius throughout the air. Polar high pressure belts, the duration and the intensity of sun rays, not only the intensity but also the duration varies during particular periods of the year in both the hemispheres, and because of this, the locations of the temperature zones and the pressure belts dependent on the sun, heat also vary. और उसकी वजह से क्या होता है, दिस चेंज इज ऑफ द ऑर्डर ऑफ 5 डिग्री टू 7 डिग्री टूवर्ड्स नॉर्थ in Uttarayan and 5 degree to 7 degree south in Dakshinayan. This is called the oscillation of pressure belts. So due to the effect or influence of temperature, pressure belts on the earth's surface, which we have equatorial low pressure belt, mid latitudinal high pressure belts, subpolar low pressure belts and polar high pressure belts. Now if you people observe carefully the figures which are given in our textbook, then it is very easy to understand these pressure belts. Air pressure, which has the following effects: origin of winds because of air pressure, then the generation of storms and convectional type of rain. ये सब चीज़ें जो है वो एयर प्रेशर की वजह से होती हैं और इट अफेक्ट्स एयर प्रेशर. That is origin of winds, generation of storms and convectional type of rain. Here origin of winds, generation of storms you can see, and the convectional rain. Sun hits the land and air above, then warm air rises, cools and condenses forming clouds, and then rain can then occur. Now the next thing in this topic, isobars, the line that joins the place of equal pressure. The line that joins the place of equal pressure on the map is called an isobar. Here now you can see 10 10 to 10 10. This means this is isobar. So the lines that joins the places of equal pressure, for example यहाँ पे है इक्वल प्रेशर और यहाँ पर है, तो इन दोनों को जोड़ने वाली जो लाइन है दैट इज कॉल्ड आइसोबार. By observing this image you can find out the isobars. Subscribe the channel and press bell icon to get notifications.
So my dear ones, this is all for today. Thank you very much. Stay home, stay safe, take care.